That must have been some academy you went to topside.
Yeah, the best.
What was it called?
Skywalker Academy.
The newest Clone Wars continues Ahsoka's Ronin adventures as she slides deeper into the criminal underworld thanks to Trace and Rafa Martez. They mention that Rafa won her laundromat in gambling. In the last episode, we pointed out that these Arabesh letters spelled out Calrissian Lando Mat. So Rafa winning the shop gambling implies that she could have won it from another swindling member of the Calrissian family. Early in the episode, Trace talks about the division of wealth on Coruscant.
If there was, I couldn't afford it. I mean, look around. This is it.
I'm glad they're using this as a plot device because it's a corner of the galaxy that's not very well explored. We saw the division of wealth in The Last Jedi, but we've never seen a character profoundly motivated by poverty. Even Anakin, who was raised a slave, is more motivated to save his family than to right the wrongs of slavery and poverty in the galaxy.
I had a dream I was a Jedi. I came back here and freed all the slaves.
Later.
They call the Silver Angel impressive. This word is used again and again in the Clone Wars.
That was impressive.
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 Most impressive.
Probably is a tribute to this.
Impressive.
There's a deactivated pit droid here, which you'll remember from The Phantom Menace. She gives her ship the name Silver Angel, which everyone laughs at. But there are actual Silver Angels in Star Wars.
They live on the moons of Viego, I think.
That's right, Anakin, they do, and they appeared in Season 1 of The Clone Wars. Ahsoka has traded in her Padawan clothes for a blue mechanic's jumpsuit. It's a nice visual way to show us she's moving away from her old life. It's also a color scheme that's closer to her clothing from Star Wars Rebels, showing a bridge between these two phases of her life. They accidentally enter the military traffic lane, where we see Republic gunships docking with a Venerator-class destroyer, the precursor to the Imperial Star Destroyers. Then there's this touching moment where she and Anakin briefly sense one another. This was a callback to the original trilogy when Luke senses both Vader and Leia. If the commander with Anakin looks familiar, it's probably because he's your mom.
He said it! He said it!
I'm just kidding, he's actually Admiral Wolf Yularen. He's appeared in numerous episodes of the Clone Wars, Rebels, and he's this guy in A New Hope. This whole scene between Anakin and Yularen is made to imitate this scene with Vader and Admiral Piet in Return of the Jedi. In both scenes, Anakin lets someone pass who he feels a Force connection with. Now in this scene, Anakin is coming home from the Outer Rim sieges that we saw in previous episodes. This could be setting him up to be on Coruscant when Chancellor Palpatine is kidnapped, like we saw in Revenge of the Sith. Remember, this whole season is going to lead directly into Episode 3. They travel to Kessel, which was first mentioned in A New Hope.
We'll be sent to the spice mines of Kessel or smashed into who knows what.
And we previously saw in Solo. And the loading area was modeled after the mines that we saw in that film. Trace is surprised that slavery exists on Kessel. Now you'll remember that Padme was also surprised that slavery existed on Tatooine.
I can't believe there's still slavery in the galaxy.
So the Republic does have blind spots, or at least is willing to look the other way when it suits them. This could be because of corrupt bureaucrats, or maybe the Jedi are too preoccupied fighting the war to deal with slavers. It could be a very early example of Palpatine's pro-slavery policies that he implements under the Empire. The foreman at the loading platform is a Zygerian. This is a race of slavers who allied with the Separatists in the Clone Wars.
Tell it to my whip!
This episode also shows us the southern hemisphere of Kessel, which is much more lush and vibrant than the mining areas in the north. They're ruled by King Yaruba, who is actually first mentioned in the official guide to Solo, a Star Wars story. So whatever happens in this story, it's a safe bet that Yaruba isn't ousted from his throne, because he's still ruling during the events of Solo. His major domo is a Twi'lek, much like Bib Fortuna was the major domo of Jabba the Hutt. Trace dumps her cargo, which is what Han Solo did to put him on Jabba the Hutt's list just before A New Hope.
Even I get boarded sometimes. Do you think I had a choice?
So Ahsoka accidentally becomes a spice runner, much like Poe Dameron.
We're a spice runner?
In the original Star Wars, the mention of spice was actually a reference to Frank Herbert's seminal sci-fi novel, Dune.
He who controls the spice controls the universe.
They're selling the spice to the Pyke Syndicate. Now, these aliens have actually appeared before in Solo and several episodes of Clone Wars. They're one of the crime syndicates that Darth Maul absorbs into the Shadow Collective. And I've always loved the architecture of their buildings, how it imitates the shapes and lines of their faces. One of the Pykes is Marg Krim, who appeared in the Season 6 episode The Lost Ones.
That was a long time ago.
And his majordomo, Fife, appeared in the comic book Darth Maul's Son of Dathomir. Ahsoka uses the Jedi mind trick on them, which now we can see really has its limitations. Well guys, that's all the Easter eggs that we found. If you found any, let me know in the comments below. And please, tell me what you thought of the episode. What do you think of Ahsoka's arc so far? And if it's your first time here, please subscribe. For ScreenCrush, I'm Ryan Arey.